What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So I've been wanting to bring you guys this video for a very long time, since I heard about the news myself. Okay, this news came out last year in 2022, right? And then the strike happened in Hollywood that basically shut all production down in Hollywood. And I am talking about none other than God of War today. And you guys may be like, what? You're talking about a video game? Yes and no. I'm talking about God of War by Santa Monica Studios. I'm talking about the franchise that has become God of War because it has been so popularized in today's pop culture. So last year we heard that Amazon was going to adapt the video games into a show. And when I heard about that news originally, I was excited. I was like, finally, we're going to have a true adaptation of some Greek mythology. You know, we'll actually get to see the gods. We'll get to see them use their powers. We'll get to see, Hephaestus. We'll get to see Apollo. We'll get to see Zeus. We'll get to see Hermes. We'll get to see Hades. All of these different gods. And then I read further that no, they'll be adapting the later games, the soft reboot, as you may say, of the God of War franchise that came back in 2017. And I was disappointed by that, simply because why not go back to the beginning? Give us something from the beginning that built us up to the character of Kratos that we know and love. I don't know what or where or how that whole process went down in the studio and with the writers and developers on why they thought it was such a good idea to basically start at the end. They saw the success that God of War had, and they was just like, yeah, let's go with that. The Norse mythology. This soft reboot started with Kratos on the North Pantheon side instead of the Greek Pantheon. See, a lot of the people that will be watching this show isn't going to really be familiar with the character of Kratos and where he's come from and why he is the way he is. People like me that have played all of the games will understand and know why he is this way. Right now, as we speak, I'm playing God of War Ragnarok. I've played every single God of War game up until this point. I've done my research. I've watched videos on these characters, who Kratos is. I am so into this world, it's ridiculous. I had the Leviathan axe, the prop Leviathan axe. I ordered it off of Etsy. It cost me $500. I ordered the Jotunheim edition of God of War Ragnarok before it even came out. It was pre-ordered. And then I went and picked it up on my birthday. So right now I'm playing God of War Ragnarok. Finally got around to actually sitting down and playing it and immersing myself into this world that took almost 20 years to build. You say 20 years? What? 20 years. 2005 is when the first God of War game came out. 2005. Now, to me, it is kind of confusing on why you would completely ignore everything that predated these later games. Because like I was saying, the casual audience watching this isn't gonna know who Kratos is. You're picking up after his origin and why he is so angry and so bitter, why he's in the realm of the Norse gods, what he was trying to escape from, who he was trying to escape from. And let me add this, for those of you that are watching this video and has never played these games, he ain't escaping or running from nobody, because everybody that he would be running from and escaping from are dead at his own volition. Now, Kratos is the Spartan, and a lot of people get this confused. He's not the Greek god of war. He is the Spartan god of war. This is a mortal man with the help of Zeus. This is a mortal man that killed the Greek god of war, Ares, and was given the title, the god of war. He was given the title, given the throne. He ascended to the throne that is of the god of war. Right? He wasn't running from Zeus. He wasn't running from Hercules. He wasn't running from Apollo. He wasn't running from Athena. He wasn't running from anybody, because they're all dead. All of them. All of the famous Greek gods that we know and love. In them earlier games, he brutally murdered them. And the Titans. He had a hand in the downfall of all of these characters that we have grown to know and love throughout movies, or if you were like me and or geek to it and have the books on Norse mythology and Greek mythology and Egyptian mythology. He slaughtered all of the gods in Greek, the Greek gods, because he was upset. And you're like, what? Yeah. One of these gods, Ares, tricked Kratos into killing his family, his wife and his daughter. Tricked him because Ares was selfish and saw the potential that Kratos had. And he didn't want Kratos to have blinders on, basically. So it was a heart-wrenching moment in the game where Kratos went to this village and was basically slaughtering everybody. And Ares basically masked his wife and his daughter to look like someone else, and Kratos killed him because of Ares. And then when Kratos came to, he realized what he had done, and he promised his vengeance on Ares. Lo and behold, no one thought it happened, but he got his revenge. He got his revenge, and that is how he became the god of war. And a lot of people are going to tell you, or people have said, he's the Greek. No, he is the Spartan god of war. He was a Spartan soldier. He was a Spartan warlord. He's Spartan. He's not Greek. His father is the Greek god, but he is Spartan. He's a Spartan god of war. I'm just saying. Now, why am I talking about Amazon? Because Amazon came out and said they'd be adapting God of War, the Norse period in this in this universe, the Norse period, they'd be adapting it to a show. Now, do I believe Amazon could do that? No, absolutely not. Because there was another very loved franchise, very loved world universe that was adapted by Amazon, and they totally messed that up. They messed that up. It was so bad. It was no. And I'm talking about Lord of the Rings. I'm talking about Lord of the Rings. I don't even know what I never watched it. They spent so much money on it. They spent so much money on it, and it flopped. It did bad. And this is a property that people love. I watched all of the original Lord of the Rings movies, the director's cuts, and then I watched the Hobbit movies. We can say what we want about the Hobbit movies, but it expanded on what was the original Lord of the Rings, the Peter Jackson Lord of the Rings movies. And then that show came out, and it was supposed to expand more, and it didn't. It rewrit all of the characters that we knew and loved. It was supposed to be an adaptation of some books, and it was not an adaptation of those books. The good thing that I could say about this whole God of War thing going to Amazon is Cory Barlog. I'm sorry if I'm slaughtering your name. This is off script. This is completely off the dome. Cory Barlog is directing the show. He was the one that made that 2017 God of War the phenomenon that it was. Won awards. Was when it first came out, mind-blowingly, it looked just beautiful. It gave us a look inside a different side of Kratos that we didn't get to see in the original movies because he did what he did to his family at that time. We got to see in a more emotional side. We got to see him struggling with being a father and struggling with being a soldier. He had to decipher the two because he is no longer a soldier. He is a father. And the Christopher Judge, the actor that played him, did phenomenal. He invoked so many emotions. I watched the documentary that they had come out. It's on YouTube. You can go check it out. I'll leave it in the video, the description. I'll leave it linked in the description below. Under this video is what I was trying to say. It was a whole documentary, I think it was over 2 hours, or just about 2 hours, that they had come out. And one scene that really moved me in that documentary and in the game is when Athena's ghost haunts Kratos throughout these games, hunts him. And there was a scene in the game, and I also watched them make the scene in that documentary where Christopher Judge, the Blades of Chaos, was revealed to all of us. That was one of those mind-blowing moments, because I didn't think they were going to do it, bring the Blades of Chaos back, because he has a new weapon, the Leviathan Axe, that's on par with Mjolnir. That we find out later in the game that is on par with Mjolnir. Mjolnir's opposite. Is his peanut to his butter, or his grape to his peanut butter, or his white to his rice type of thing. That scene, Christopher Judge, when he was actually shooting that scene, started crying, and then we find out that he felt real emotions at that moment because he was thinking more about his kids, his real life kids, when Athena called him a monster, and we saw him cry. And honestly, if they would have put that in the game to give Kratos more character development, I would have appreciated it so much. Because we see in this game, Kratos go through so many different emotions. So many different emotions. From feeling lost, feeling angry, feeling neglectful. Like, so many range of emotions that Christopher Judge really invoked in this character. And I'm going to be honest, I don't want Amazon to mess that up. You have one chance to make an impact, and you're talking about a franchise that is loved by many. I'm not the only one that's passionate about God of War. I got the comic books, I've got the games, I've played the games on multiple occasions. You can go in my YouTube history and look up how many videos I've watched on God of War, Kratos, all of these different characters in these games, what the story means, where the story may lead to. These last two games, yes, they are amazing. Ragnarok, you can say what you want about the game. It didn't win awards or may not win awards because of the puzzles, and I get it. I don't really like playing puzzles with a story-driven game that has action. I can do without the puzzles because I want to fight and watch a story unfold. I don't want to have to think too much. You know, you think every day when you have to get up and go to work, or when you have to worry about how you're going. You think every single day. You get on games and watch TV shows to kind of escape reality. So I can see what people's issues are as far as puzzles. And, but be that as it may, God of War Ragnarok expands on that lore and that story. And the characters in the Norse mythology, on the Norse mythology side versus the Greek mythology side. Now, there is a bunch of comparisons. Mimir does bring up the fact that Greek's gods were a lot more advanced than the Norse gods, and their magic was a lot more advanced than the Norse gods, and their technology was a lot more advanced than the Norse gods. So there is some crisscross. There is some speaking of, other pantheons and stuff like that. The first game, it was Tyr's, Tyr's vault, and you saw like Tyr visited different areas of the world and stuff like that. The only thing that's confusing to me about this whole thing is you have Greek gods, you have Norse gods now, and in the first couple of God of Wars, we saw how the universe was created. But in this God of War, it's not even going to be a trilogy. It's just 2 games with the Norse. We see how this universe was created. So I'm wondering if they're different dimensions or like different pockets of, like, you got certain areas of Europe that's overseen by Zeus, certain areas overseen by Odin, certain areas overseen by another god, or is it like, I hate bringing this up, in Thor Love and Thunder, how you have these different gods and you have the king of gods, basically. I'm wondering how that's going to play out. How that overlaps with everything. What that plays into. But that's a whole nother video for a whole nother day. I don't want Amazon to come in and completely nerf this because it's an opportunity for a cash grab. You've got one of the best video game directors in the business, being Cory Barlog, saying his name wrong. Don't nerf this. Don't mess it up. Don't do what you did with Lord of the Rings to God of War. We still have no information on when it's coming out, who the actors are going to be. Nothing since the strike stopped. So I was hoping to hear that it's coming back, because we're already speculating about what the next game is going to be, where the next game is going to take place. Are we going to see Kratos again? Are we going to see Atreus again? What's going to happen? If you do this, you got to do it right. You got to bring the actors back that played in the games to play them in live action. If it's going to be a direct adaptation, scene for scene of the game, it needs to be TVMA, R-rated, it needs to have all of that. Christopher Judge definitely has to come back and play Kratos. You cannot have another Kratos. I'm sorry. Christopher Judge completely wiped out the original actor that played Kratos, and I like him. I've seen him in Living Color and all. Cool. I like him. He has one of those voices that you hear him, you know who it is. Just like Christopher Judge has. You hear him, you know who it is. He has to come back. Ryan Hurst has to come back and play Thor. You know, all of these different people have to come back and play the characters that they played in the game, in the show. Because it won't feel right. We don't want Dwayne Johnson playing Kratos. Okay? Hell, I don't want Batista playing Kratos. You need to get someone that looks and feels like Kratos. You get Dwayne Johnson to play Kratos. I don't think I'm gonna check out your show. I don't think I'm gonna watch it, honestly. If you do it, get a no-name actor and then have Christopher Judge, you know, dub over said actor. You would have to do it like that. It's like one of those things of, hell, that's Superman, or that's Batman, or that's Kratos. You can't unsee it now. You speculated who may play it before, but now you can't unsee it. But that does it for me, guys. Like, comment, and subscribe. Share with your friends and family. Let me know if you're looking forward to this Amazon adaptation of God of War. And let me know if you're not. There's a lot of adaptations coming out. People are running out of ideas, so they got to pump out something, bring some money in. So let me know how you feel about this. I'm going to go back and finish playing God of War. I was actually playing the game. That's why I came to do the video. I love you guys. I told you I'm going to get back on bringing y'all content. I'm still waiting for my teleprompter so I can sound more professional and intelligent when I speak to y'all. But Amazon, don't fuck this up. Don't fuck this up, please. Please. Because I will religiously watch it and watch it again. But you have to do it from the beginning. You have to go all the way back to the beginning. Can't just start midway through the story and expect everybody to know what you're trying to do or who you're talking about. Because that's the quickest way to turn people away if they don't understand something. Do right by us. Okay? Learn from the boys. Learn from them. Okay? They doing it right. Adaptation straight from the comic books. Invincible. You know, all of these